The last thing I want to talk about under functions is lambda function. So lambda functions, uh, basically a lambda function is a Python is a small anonymous function which is defined using the lambda keyword. Now, unlike typical functions that we just saw, defined with the keyword def, lambda functions are typically used for short, simple operations and can take any number of arguments, but can only have a single expression, and the expression is evaluated and returned when the lambda function is called. Right? And the general format for the lambda function is lambda, which is the keyword, then arguments, input arguments, colon, expression. Right? So let's do something simple. Let's say lambda, defining a lambda function that takes x and y as inputs and it returns x plus y. And let's just put it add is equal to, and that's how you put a name for it. So add 2 and 3. If I run that, right, it defines the lambda function with 2 inputs, and I call the function add, and this returns the summation. Of course, it could be a little bit more complicated, and there are actually very interesting applications for lambda functions. We just need to talk a little bit more about a few other things before we get there, but I'm going to throw a relatively I would say advanced, but not in a way that is difficult to understand, but less used in a typical way example. And here is let's say I define a dictionary, since we just talked about dictionaries. Let's say I define a dictionary, students, with define a list with 3 entries. Each one is a dictionary. Alright, so I have a list, and within a list there are 3 dictionaries with key name and grade and values for those names. So if let me print that first so you can see what does that look like. Basically, it's a list. The first item in the list is a dictionary, and it's the second item in the list, and there's a third item in the list. Now, let's say I want to sort this list. Right? Let's say sorted list of students, but I want to sort it based on students grade. Alright, so because if I just put sort or sorted print, this is a dictionary. If I do something like this, let's see what happens. I get an error. Right, it's telling me basically it's pretty confused about what to do with the dictionary when we are using this sorted method or function in this case. So I have to provide a little bit of more information. I say, well, sort this, and sort, if you hover your mouse over the function, you will get a little bit of helpful information about the inputs. See, there is a key and there is reverse. Now, again, if you go a little bit further, it says sorted, return a new list containing all items from the iterable in ascending order. So ascending is the default. A custom key function can be supplied to customize the sort order, and the reverse flag can be set to request the result in descending order. So, what is it talking about? Let's define key. This was the input. So I'm saying sort these based on, I'm going to define a lambda function with student as input, student grade. Right? So basically what this does is it looks at the dictionary, and the key input for this sorted the input argument would be this lambda function where I'm returning the grade. So I'm sorting based on the grade now. If I run that, you will see now I get 80, 85, and 90. And remember, when I hover the mouse over this, I also had an input argument reverse. So if I do reverse and set it to true as a flag there, and then that was not the intention I had. So select, shift, enter. Now you will see it in reverse. I get 90, 85, 80. So the order is reversed. So this is an interesting example of a lambda function. It's a very simple implementation within a sorted, so you can actually sort a dictionary based on a specific key value pair or value specifically you want by identifying the corresponding key using the lambda function.